Welcome, Boerne. This is Jeff Flinn from the Boerne Star, Managing Editor. We're on the Boerne Brew this morning. Pull up your coffee there because we have a couple experts here, at least one expert in the field. They attended the Greater Boerne Chamber of Commerce annual gala, and both of them came away as honorees. We're not going to call them award winners because that's like they open the envelope at the Grammys or Emmys or whatever. We're not like that. The Chamber of Commerce gala is like the who's who of Boerne. You know, when you're just being honored and the people you are up against, I guess you'd say, is tremendous when you look at that. Two winners here today. I've got Patty Maines from down at Black Rifle Coffee Company. We're talking about our brew here. We'll talk about that in a minute. And I've got Mark Olson from the Boerne Blaze Special Olympics. Guys, welcome in today. I appreciate you for coming in. Patty, tell me about when you're nominated. To me, when I look at all the people who are nominated in all the categories, it's not a surprise because those are the people in all those 7 categories that make Boerne happen. It's like, how do you tell people what Patty does? It's hard unless you follow her around, and then you'd find out that you don't want to do that anymore because you don't have the time she does. Thank you, Patty. Welcome in.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. What is your favorite flavor of coffee? When Patty wakes up and you have time to get what you want, what is it?
When I have time to have a coffee, it is different. So
Yeah.
I do love all the flavors, you know, all the different fancy coffees that they make, but I can't drink that much sugar. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have an Americano, which is basically like an Americano, but they foam it. And so it's got a fluffy layer on top, and I love it.
When you roll into work and they see you coming, did they say, Americano?
Yep.
They know.
They do. They know. They know.
You know, back in the day when I worked at a newspaper in the San Antonio area, I was a drive-through window freak. And the guy, it's frightening when you know the first name of the guy in the window and he knows you. That was frightening. I thought, how do I know his name and he knows me?
We call that cheers.
Yeah.
We call that cheers. Everybody knows
Norm.
everybody in the shop.
Hey, Norm. So tell me about Black Rifle. It's been 6.5 years. Like I put in the article, it's one of the downtown anchors.
Oh, nice.
To me, it is. You know,
Yeah.
Black Rifle Coffee's there. When there's events going on, Black Rifle Coffee's there. When there's the street festival beside it, it's kind of downtown anchor. Patty won as Businesswoman of the Year for the Chamber Gala, and Mark is here representing the Boerne Blaze Special Olympics. So they're both winners in the nonprofit organization category. But again, there are 7 categories, 10 people, 10 or 8 in each. That's a lot of people recognized, and you were the honoree. When people voted and they saw all these people, I'm like, I couldn't vote for that. It's like asking me what's my favorite Beatles album.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I was surprised I'm nominated. I'm always like, what? Who nominated me? So it's nice. I feel like, oh, that's really nice that somebody thought that much of me
Right.
to nominate me. And when I look at everybody else who's up there, I'm like, wow, I'm up there with all these other people. I
Right.
know how hard they were. I'm like, I was very excited, very pleased.
Well, I think that's why the term honoree comes in, because you know, the winner is, no, the honoree is, because everybody in that category makes Boerne
Was the
happen.
winner.
They're all special. They all have their own thing they do to make Boerne a better place to live. And you obviously do that. I went back for like 25 seconds and found all these things you've done. It's like, man, if I look much longer, I'm not going to have room for anybody else in the article if I do that.
No, it's nice. Everybody that was nominated and all the honorees make Boerne what it is by connecting community.
Right.
I'm really big on connecting community, people finding things that they enjoy together. Because I grew up in this as a small town, and we all know it's growing way too much, way too fast.
Right.
And the only way to make it still feel like the small, cute community that it used to be is to know people
Right.
and bring them all in and start connecting everybody again like the small town it used to be.
Yep. Mark, did you grow up in a small town?
Not really. I've grown up all over the country. My dad was Coast Guard, then Caterpillar, so we moved a lot. So
Moved a lot.
big towns, small towns. I went to high school in a small town, so a little
Okay.
smaller than Boerne, about 12,000 people.
Well, this is Mark Olson representing Boerne Blaze Special Olympics. Mark, tell us about being nominated. Tell us about being there that night at the gala and how joyful it is to receive an honor.
First of all, I appreciate you having me here, and thank you for putting us all on the front page of Boerne Star today.
Right.
Nice to see that. To be really clear, Jenny Cashin is really the one who drives Boerne Blaze. She founded it for her son, Adam, and we've grown to 100 athletes. For a delegation in a small town this size, that's a big delegation. Everybody knows everybody. We're very close. But I helped out Jenny last year running the delegation because her son was critically ill and unfortunately last fall passed away. So I filled in on that. But I coach 3 of the sports too. So I coach top golf, bowling, and swimming because my girls are involved. So my most important job in the world is I'm the father of 2 significantly developmentally disabled adult daughters, 21 and 30. And but they love Boerne Blaze. And so it's just a phenomenal group to be part of. And we're really thrilled. So I'm just there helping back Jenny to be successful, and it was nice. She and Adam, her son Adam, were able to get up and be honored. But I mean, seriously, in a category of 18 nonprofits, every single one of which is phenomenal for their work, and Kim Blum would be happy to hear me say this, of the 140 nonprofits in Boerne who contribute $50 million annually to this economy, it's just a phenomenal honor.
You know, I must have been here 3 or 4 months, and I came out and did a story on Boerne Blaze swimmers, and Adam was one of the 2 or 3 in the pool at the time. And Adam has, he has his vocal vocabulary limits, so that's one of his difficulties in life. And I say 3 weeks ago, could have been 7 months ago, when we had the police versus fire.
Oh, that's in April. Yeah, and it's coming up again next April. So
almost a year ago, I guess.
Start plugging it
a couple weeks
again.
ago, but I showed up out at the Northrop. Is that where it is? Showed up at the kickball game, the fire versus police. Each one of the firemen and police officers had a Special Olympian that they had with them on the field, and they kicked and that kind of thing. And I'm standing there taking photos, and all of a sudden I feel this poof, rap. It was Adam. Came up and gave me the hug that you get from your aunt at Thanksgiving who you haven't seen for 8 years, And I thought, oh, hi. I didn't realize who it was until he backed up because he had me from the side. Just gave me this big, loving hug, and, he remembered me. He thought enough of me to come up and hug me, and that was his way of saying hi. Yeah. That's his way of vocalizing what he thought. So that was touching. I was very touched by that.
That next kickball game's coming up on March 21st. Not that I'm plugging it right now, but we're recruiting for that right now.
Yeah, we're not plugging that. Circle March 21st on your calendar. We're not plugging that at all. It's probably going to be Northrop again. Yep. We're not plugging that at all. If you know police and fire. 11 o'clock. Yep. We don't know. We don't do that here, Mark.
But the comments that Jeff Weller read in introducing the category and getting ready to mention us as an honoree for that, this population is just traditionally underserved, but this community has stepped up in a big way. I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, we were the Grand Marshals in the Weihnacht Parade. San Antonio Express News in November put us on the cover of their newspaper, celebrating that. So, the support really is there. And that's, to your point, Patty, that's what a small town's all about.
Right. The voices you hear that are not mine today, I've got Patty Maines from the Black Rifle Coffee Company, Businesswoman of the Year at the Greater Boerne Chamber of Commerce Annual Gala, which was last Saturday. Man, how cold was it to get up and get dressed up in a nice fancy clothes and get out in that 17-degree wind? But then you walked into it was at the Cana, correct?
Yes.
Nice. It looked like the most warm, inviting atmosphere I've never been to. Well, no, I've never been to the resorts down in Mexico. I see commercials where I've never been there, but it's one of those things that, gosh, I wish I would have been there after all. Mark, tell me about turning out, and how impressed was Adam? Adam was there, correct?
Yeah, no, he was thrilled, and it was nice. They put him at the same table with Judge Solarzik, and so they had originally met, if you recall, back when the Paralympian, the archer, at their ceremony down at Veterans. That's where they first met, and so they kind of got reconnected again and remembered each other. But that's what that event is about. Like, it's getting to see everybody, and I was so thankful that the ice held off just long enough that we could have that and get home. Because you're right, I didn't move for 2.5 days after that. We were iced in.
Yep. Patty, I first really was introduced to you when you were the speaker at one of the Veterans Day or the Memorial Day. Was it Veterans Day?
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day. And Patty spoke eloquently for somebody that wasn't a veteran.
Correct.
Tell me about that.
Well, I'm a huge supporter of the veteran community. VFW, American Legion, which not plugging that February 28th, they're having their gala, so
Right.
they need some people to come out and buy some tables and tickets.
Yeah, we'll get with Tony White or Anthony White. We'll get him in there.
Yeah. So for some reason, they asked me to speak, and they asked me to speak on what's a veteran to you as a non-veteran.
Right. So
And it was very fun. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was just interesting, that veteran, non-veteran thing. Usually the Veterans Day and Memorial Day, the speakers are dressed in the dress greens or dress blues on, and they tell about the 20 years of experience. When you walked up, I thought, that's interesting. But, like I said, Black Rifle Coffee, corner mainstay downtown. Probably 60, 70% of your customers are probably veterans, and you walk outside, the coffee klatch outside is going to be the guys sitting there talking about, telling their war stories, and that's great stuff to listen to.
Well, Boerne puts on a first Saturday coffee for the veterans.
Oh, really?
So they pay for all their coffee, and so that's really nice. But we're huge supporters of the veterans, and so we have veterans and first responders. Everybody's coming in as veteran first responder, and so they'll get a free cup of coffee or discount or something. But yeah, I definitely am a big supporter. I grew up as Air Force brat.
Oh, did you? Okay.
My dad was a pilot in the Air Force. My grandfather was in the Army, and my other grandfather was in the Navy.
Wow, there you go. What are some of the cities you lived in as a brat?
Edwards Air Force Base in California. Ohio, we were at Wright-Patterson or Dayton.
Yep.
And up in Massachusetts, it was Offutt Air Force Base near Bedford.
Right.
Of course, I don't remember New Jersey or Fort Dix, New Jersey. That's
young?
where I was born.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
so I don't remember that. And then I think we were in Alabama. My parents were in Laredo while he was in pilot school, but I was not born then. So we traveled around. My dad was TDY, other, other countries.
Right.
So.
It's surprising you mentioned those bases. Somebody in the next month has come up and say, Patty, you were at Offutt? What years were you there? And you mentioned that stuff. That's why I bring stuff like that up, is tell me about when I'm running people, candidates or something in the paper, tell me where you got your bachelor's, where you got your master's, where you got your Juris Doctorate, because had someone from Michigan State in there, somebody's going to stop her on the road and say, hey, you went to Michigan State? What years were you there? Do you remember, did you take Philosophy 101 or whatever?
Right.
It's gonna be, that sense of community,
Right.
That's your pride, your community. You're also in the Historical Preservation Commission, is that correct?
Historic Landmark Commission.
Historic Landmark Commission,
Yes,
there you go.
That's right.
That goes back to preserving Boerne's past for Boerne's future.
Yeah, I would like to see continued improvements on Main Street, on Historic Main, that reflect the same style of German heritage that settled the town. So yeah, I like to see it. There's not a lot of infill left, but any kind of renovation or anything like that, I'd like to see something historic that reflects back on our heritage.
We have a school moving into the old City Hall building.
Yes,
Preserving
that's
that way.
awesome.
And the
It used to
Coleman
be a
King-
school.
Right. So to be a school once again. So,
Yeah.
Mark, tell us about the Special Olympics when I saw you out at the kickball game and I met you out at the swimming. How do your athletes interact with other athletes when you go on the road? Tell us the day in the life of a Special Olympian, because it's just not being in Boerne. They have to train just like anybody else. You don't become an Olympian without training.
True. And before I forget, I also want a big shout out to Das Festival for the support they gave us this year.
Ah, yes.
And really, really appreciate
Patty,
that.
shame on you for not reminding me you were on the Das Kendall Festival board.
Yeah, we were so excited and so proud that they were honored that night. So that was awesome.
No, we were too. We have 11 sports, and we're currently in the middle of basketball practice right now. And not that I'm going to plug the big game on Monday, February 23rd at 6 p.m. at Champion High School, but it's free and come out. It is one of the most amazing events because we fill the gym.
Really?
All the basketball teams, all the cheer squads, all the cheerleaders, parents, elected officials, everybody shows up. It is loud and chaotic and fun. And it's just a great evening, so I'll put that plug in there. So we practice, typically, we're based around what's called an area competition. And so area for us is San Antonio, a little bit into New Braunfels, and us. And so there's a lot of teams depending on whatever that sport is.
Right.
And so the Special Olympics Texas sets a calendar for us, and there's a competition date. And we have to work back 8 or 9 weeks for our practices. That's what we're supposed to be doing according to Special Olympics. So we do the same thing with bowling. We do it with swimming. We do it with cycling. We've got cheer and dance. We've got top golf. So right now we're in basketball. The next one after that will be cycling, and then probably closely followed by top golf. Swimming will kick off in the summer, bowling in the fall. We've got so many bowlers right now. We run 2 shifts at Boerne Turnberry.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's fantastic. And then we just kind of keep going. December is the one month we kind of a little bit of a break. But I mean, for example, so there's area competition, there's state competitions, right? So we did really well this year with swimming. We sent 10 athletes to area competition. They came away with buckets of medal. We sent 4 to state competition out in Midland, Odessa, and came back with a bucket full of gold medals. Bowling, we did the same thing. Area competition in San Antonio. Every single one of our athletes got gold at that.
Wow.
We were thinking about going to the state competition in Far. I had to look that up where it was. It is Far. And we just couldn't make it work out to get everybody there. But we do well in those competitions. It's a lot of fun. We're a 100% volunteer organization. We have an amazing group of coaches, an amazing group of volunteers. We're really closely supported now by YMSL, Young Men's Service League, which operates out of the Lutheran Church. They're a great organization. And now just recently picked up NCL, National Charity League. They came to our big game last year and said, what's this all about? And I had a chance to talk to them, and they got a chance to see what it's all about. And now they're showing up in numbers. So it's a great experience for individuals 14 to 18 years old to learn more about this population and understand how to interact with this population, become advocates for our athletes.
Special Olympics, probably, I'm trying to think, gosh, without dating myself too long, back in one of those years, back in the 1900s. At Judson, I served as one of these Special Olympian greeters at it was a 100-yard dash, and we waited for the guys and girls to come running towards us. And before they did get on mark, get set, go, we were down there. I looked at my guy, and I kind of waved. He looked at me and said, I'm going to go down and introduce him. So I walked in, I didn't hold up the race, but I walked down and introduced him. He gave me a hug. I said, I'll be waiting for you right down there. And these other guys saw it, and they ran down too and introduced themselves to their runner.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be a hugger. I wanted to know the guy. So when he, come on, run to me. He finished second. I finished second.
Nice.
But I think he was running more for the hug than anything. So I've got Mark Olson here, folks. We're talking to 2 of the 7 winners from the Boerne Chamber of Commerce annual gala. Every year they give away a bunch of awards to Businessman of the Year, Businesswoman of the Year, which is our Patty Maines is sitting here, Nonprofit Organization of the Year, Business of the Year over 50 employees, Business of the Year under 50 employees, New Business of the Year, and Ambassador of the Year. Patty Maines, everybody knows her. She's been around. And it's an interesting, you're not like on the board of directors here. You're involved in getting your feet wet, roll up your sleeves, getting your hands dirty. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's the way to be when you're in an organization is tell me how I can get involved. I don't want to sit up on a throne. I want to be involved.
True. I don't know what other thing to do other than create the event. Like when I created the block parties, that was strictly for community involvement. So I created that, but I also love it. I love to be around people. It's like you find things that drain you and you'll find things that perk you up. And it's being around people really perks me up. It's what gives me the energy.
You put all that time and energy and you sink it in, and the block party happens, and next day people say, hey, Patty, when you can do that again? That was fun. You're like, oh, geez, I got to do it again.
I enjoy it. We keep it a month apart, so I enjoy it.
Yep. Mark, tell us about your daughters involved in the Special Olympics. What sports are they able to compete in? And how often do you get people come up to you and say, either I have a friend whose daughter might do this, or my nephew's son, I want to get him involved. How do I do that? How often do you hear that kind of thing?
Well, both girls are involved in multiple sports, some in the same, some in different sports, both in basketball right now. Both will be in cycling, both will be in swimming. Neither one seems to be interested in Topgolf. That's okay. And it can be a very full schedule, right? We get into the fall and we may have multiple sports occurring at the same time. And if they're involved in more than one, suddenly it's 4 days a week. When we're at practices, it gets to be a very full schedule, at least weekly. I'm talking to a family who says, hey, we'd love to get involved. I think we've probably grown from 70 to 100 athletes since I've been here. We may add 2 or 3 a month to that as this area grows. Of all levels of abilities, I think is really the most important thing. And we have individuals in Special Olympics that are as young as 7, and we have individuals that are over 50. They compete side by side with each other. We make whatever accommodations are necessary for them to do that. So, for example, in bowling, we've got some that use a ramp, some that don't. We have athletes that compete out of wheelchairs, and we have athletes that are extremely fast and nimble. And so it's just an amazing range. The most important thing for us today, just we want them to have fun, right? We want them to learn, and also to learn how to interact with each other. Basketball is a very cooperative sport. There's a lot of passing, there's a lot of sharing of responsibilities, and it can look like chaos sometimes, but it's organized chaos. Right?
Organized chaos.
There's a purpose.
Sounds like Christmas morning at my house. So, Patty Maines from Black Rifle Coffee. Tell us about DOS Festival. We're in our second year. How involved are you in getting that on the road? And that's one of those things, again, when you first start it, you spend so much time getting it done. And then you have this great weekend out at random. And then it's like, okay, you think that was important. We're going to go downtown next year, which we just got done with. Tell us about being involved in that and how that came to be for you.
Right. So this will be our third Father's Day weekend. And it's been great. We're bringing back the German festival that people love and people ask for us to bring back, and we love doing that. Every year we have plans to add more events to it. This year we're adding on a pageant, so we're looking for girls and young miss and young mister to sign up for the pageant. But yeah, it's been great, and the reception from the people has been great, and we celebrate the German heritage, and hoping to have some Tejano music on sometime to celebrate the Hispanic heritage. So we've got lots of things, and it's just cultural. So it's been really good.
Mark Olson, representing Boerne Blaze Special Olympics. Tell us about the gala the other night. How important was that for you and for Adam? And Adam's mother was there as well. How was it walking away with the trophy? Did Adam get to hold it up above his head and say, "That's me"?
Yeah, he doesn't hold it above his head. He holds it in front, but very important. Jenny's been away from the community most of last year with her other son. And so getting back in front of the community again, getting honored like that for what she's created in town. Let's not kid ourselves. She created that. She's the true head of the delegation. She's the spirit behind all of it. And Adam everybody loves Adam. I mean, how could you not? I was just beyond excited for that. And she had warned me ahead of time. She goes, "If we win, you're going to come up on stage with me." And so I waited till they actually made that happen. But it was just phenomenal.
Yeah. Patty, as a businesswoman, you get into business to do your thing. What's 2026 hold for Black Rifle Coffee and Patty? What are we looking forward to?
Looking forward to some more block parties and community engagement. We have a lot of events happening at night now at the store, sometimes private events, sometimes open, but we'll be doing new things, bigger and better.
What's your favorite coffee again?
Americano.
What's the top selling coffee on a regular basis?
I think our 1776 latte.
Okay. Again, I'm not a coffee specialist. I gave that up 40 years ago for some odd reason. Just got burnt out on coffee, and my system says no more. So I'd love to go in and drink the energy drinks or the raspberry tea fluffs that they have, that kind of
and
thing.
And a white coconut cream tea. That's our number one.
Is it? Is it? Okay.
For tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys, thanks for coming in. Let's run down. Folks, get out a piece of paper and a pen, or open up your laptop and type this in. Mark, give me some important dates coming up.
Monday, February 23rd is our big basketball game, Champion High School, 6 p.m. March 21st out at Northrop Field, 11 a.m. is the Kickball, Boerne Fire, Boerne Police, and Boerne Blaze Special Olympics. Those are the two next big ones coming up.
Patty.
February 28th is the gala for the VFW, Father's Day weekend for DOS Festival.
Got your calendar. Circle those folks. Thank you very much, guys, for being in here. Folks, thank you for listening. You have yourself a great weekend. This is the last weekend in January. It's February already, right around the corner. Tomorrow is February. So thank you, folks, for being here, and God bless, and have a great weekend for us. Bye-bye.